with Beard! Hey, podcast kitten, it's Cathy Cat and...
Ladybeard coming to another explosive edition of Cat with Beard! What is going on, Cathy Cat? How are you today? Young lady, my friend, what's going on? How are you? You look lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I got a new haircut.
Yeah, your haircut looks fantastic.
Ah, thank you. You got a haircut too?
I got a haircut, and you know what? I washed it literally right before coming to the studio, so it's the
Shiny.
cleanest you've ever seen it. Come on, have a feel. How soft is it? Have a feel.
Oh, it's very soft.
Is it nice?
I can agree it's very soft.
Thank
and now all
you.
the fans are kind of like taking out their pencils to stab me in the knee. So let's not...
What? Hang on just a second now. We went from you have lovely hair to getting stabbed in the knee. What kind of extreme transition was that?
You know, the idol world. You know, you don't want to make enemies with some of your biggest fans.
Straight out of Compton. Look at this. Holy moly.
I watch anime.
All right, fair enough.
But look. We cut so much off that I literally looked
right.
on the floor like there was like a small poodle or something on the floor. It was like this huge ball just of hair that got cut off.
Really?
And then we put some pink in it. So here we go.
You look fantastic,
Thank
young
you.
lady.
It's been
Lovely.
a big change for me, to be honest. Big change.
Really?
We used to always have, it was kind of my trademark, like long, lighter hair, and now we're short, darker hair, but I'm liking it.
Does it feel strange? Do you run your fingers through it and get surprised still by your lack of...
I'm surprised if I shake my head that actually I'm not like getting my hair caught and stuff anymore.
Yes.
When I put on a bag on my right shoulder, I'm not
Yes.
pulling my hair out anymore.
I'm a bit jealous.
When I
to be
turn
frank.
over on my pillow, I don't have to have my own hair in my face anymore. It's kind of nice.
I'm very jealous. My hair gets stuck in things non-stop.
Oh yeah, you know it.
Even after getting it cut,
God.
it's still stuck in everything.
It's like
Oh,
long
Lord.
hair, guys. It's actually so much more like
Duh.
maintenance than you guys think it is. And I'm like, oh, all the freedom I have now. Especially because winter's coming and you have like
Winter's
coats
coming.
and jackets and all of that. So it kind of keeps pulling in your hair all
It
the time.
does. Constantly.
Yep.
Ha! Ha! Hey!
Ah.
We have an email to read.
Oh, yes, read the email.
We have an email from someone whose name I'm sure I'll mispronounce.
I first read it as Beelzebub, which was wrong.
That's incorrect. The spelling of this name is Bezalel. So we got the choices of Bezalel, Bezalel, Bezalel,
Bezalel!
Bezalel.
Bezalel!
Let's go with Bezalel.
Please, if you...
Bezalel, if we're
you
saying your
listen
name
this,
wrongly, I sincerely apologize in advance.
Yes.
We're going to read your email.
Punch it, Bezalel.
All right, I'll read it in a Bezalel voice, even though I don't know what his, hers, or their voice sounds like.
Bring
You ready?
it on. Let's do it.
Hello, Cathy. Hello, Ladybeard.
Hello.
I'm Bezalel. You guys are amazing and the perfect duo for podcasting. That's very nice.
Oh, thank you.
God bless. The podcast is just not long enough, and I could just listen to it for hours. Lol. Oh, bless you, Bezalel. Thank you. Mwah. We'd be very tired by the end of that. My questions for you guys is, since you are multilingual, number 1, how many languages do you speak? Number 2, which language was the most challenging for you to learn? And 3, are there any tips or suggestions for how to learn a new language? Thank you again, and I look forward to your content and music. Bless you, Bezalel. Thank you for your emails.
you.
Very kind words.
Yes.
Thank you. You're lovely.
That note, our podcast today is about language, learning different languages, being multilingual and
Yes.
such, including obviously your favorite Japanese, I assume.
Thought you were going to say Klingon.
Klingon!
Oh,
or
Klingon! All
your
right.
favorite Newspeak.
Punch a Cathy Cat, how many languages do you speak?
Well, German is my base language. That's where I grew up in. English was the first language I got told. It started in middle school in German. You will learn it since then, and very, very strictly. We have to learn the English very strictly. And then I started French, and now it's Japanese.
Very impressive. How good is your French?
Not so good. So that's like the weakest of the languages, and that's actually the answer to what was the most challenging to learn. I think I struggled the most with French, not with Japanese.
People, I hear that French is generally quite a challenging language for the people who learn it. I'm not sure specifically why. I don't know if it's the pronunciation or the grammar or what it is. But...
I think it was like the irregular verbs, and also like you
irregulars.
like the way some things with you count, and the counting is kind of confusing and stuff. And I think a lot of it was also me not just really getting along with my teachers.
Oh! Fräulein! Le souhait, papa! It was your problem with her, wasn't it?
Little cat, yeah.
Yeah,
I had some, I wasn't really getting along with my teacher. She was a German with a big love for France, and she didn't really like me very much.
Really?
Because I was at the same time also learning a lot of English, so sometimes would accidentally mistake French and English words.
Well, that's easy to do.
She didn't quite like that somehow.
Really?
So yeah, but anyways, how many languages do you speak?
Well, speak, frankly, one. That's English, and since I'm an Aussie, I don't know if you can even count it as speaking.
I understand you.
Know what I'm saying?
But
Bless
kind
you.
of the random mumblings that suddenly happen.
That's a recent development. That's a COVID-19 development. I never mumbled before, and now I'm a mumbler.
More the rah 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 rah.
No, that's just the person that I am. So English, Aussie English, and then I learnt German in school.
Yeah.
So that was good.
Sehr
Because I
schön.
learnt it at school, but I haven't spoken in 20 years. So
Freut mich.
Then I learnt Cantonese in Hong Kong, and then I learnt Japanese when I came here, and then I learnt Mandarin so I could go to mainland China.
Which one was the most challenging then?
Cantonese, hands down. Cantonese is very, very, very hard. If you don't grow up with it, because there's 9 tones in the language. So if you say things differently, it's a different word. Like gun and gun are different words.
What?
So, yeah, exactly.
Gun,
so if you're not,
gun and gun?
if you're not, if your ears aren't sensitive to it, you don't grow up with it. You
yeah,
just
don't
never
even.
learn it. You know.
Is it like ma?
That's exactly what it is.
Like I heard that ma can be horse.
Yeah, mother.
Mother.
That's Mandarin you're talking now. So there's in Mandarin there's only 4 tones. There's ma, 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 ma. But then in Cantonese there's 9 of them. I can't even conjugate. There's too many.
Oh
It's
my
very
gosh.
hard.
Okay,
Yeah.
so. Okay, can you give me another example of like different intonations?
The ones that are all the examples are rude because there'll be a normal word and then a rude word that sound exactly the same. So I don't want to.
Let's not do that.
But gun and gun are let's see. I'm sure I'm saying them
Gun
wrongly.
and gun.
But one of them means can and one of them means straw. So you go into the convenience store. And a lot of the time you'll ask for a can, you'll get a straw, or the other way around, or so forth. Oh, here's another one. This is not tonal, they just sound the same. Jigan means napkin, and then chigang means spoon. So those get confused also. But those are actually different words, so that's totally off the topic, and Ladybeard was inappropriate.
But still very similar. I mean, in Japan, they're like, oh yeah, we have the same thing. It's like ame.
Yeah, exactly.
Ame.
Exactly.
Ame. When
And
it's like candy or rain.
And like yorka, you know? With the 2 O's and the 1 O.
Yoka.
Yeah. Talker, all that kind of thing.
talk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
like more and more, you know?
Yeah, there's a couple of like if it's a little bit stretched or something, but with ame, it's literally like ame or hashi. It can be brush, it can be chopsticks.
Bloody languages. Which was your most challenging one to learn, French?
It was definitely first French, and which is interesting because I think Japanese is more difficult as a language as such. But if you create, and that goes into number 3, any tips, suggestions how to learn a new language. If you create a reason for learning a language, I think you do better.
Okay.
So in French, I tried to read maybe a little bit of French books, but I wasn't good enough, so that was frustrating. But I think what was really helpful for me, I'm a geek, I'm an otaku, what can I say? So I watched a lot of anime, which I listened to Japanese all the time, and then had English subtitles, so it kind of 2 languages progressed for me. The listening of Japanese and the reading of English, I had to speed up if I wanted to watch anime in middle school, so there was a reason for me to improve my English and my Japanese at the same time, because many anime at the time in Germany didn't have subtitles or didn't even exist in Germany. So it was a reason for me to engage in 2 languages quite intensively if I wanted to follow the storyline.
Did you watch Madeline to learn French?
No.
You should have watched Madeline. She bangs on in French all the time, even in the English version.
Yeah, I tried like a little I tried to like the language more by finding some things that I would find interesting and such, and I really tried, but it didn't click as much, and I found it interesting because I did French for 4 years, and it didn't stick well with Japanese. After a year, I could already speak it in a way.
Well, I had your passion for the anime, so there we are.
I think it's passion. If you have a reason to learn it, so if you're trying to learn whichever language, think of the reason why you're trying to learn, and then maybe engage in popular culture, maybe movies, music, maybe comics if they have that, books, whatever you can helps you a lot to kind of remind you as well why you're actually learning the language.
Well, I recommend you do that as supplement, as supplement to your book
Do your actual
studying.
study. Yeah, don't just watch anime.
You
and
have
think
to
you're gonna learn
actually
from that.
study, and I recommend you just do it the traditional way. Get the teachers, get the books, get the homework, and just sit down and do the laborious, boring homework. Because I came to Japan, And I just got surrounded by people who couldn't speak English and figured it out. But now, here I am 9 years later, and my Japanese has all these holes in it, and I'm trying to go back now and fix it. And that's much harder than just learning it correctly from the start.
Yeah, if you can learn it correctly from the start, I'd say go for that. When I started learning Japanese, like, be honest, I was very poor. I didn't have the finances to actually go to any kind of proper teaching. So what I did instead is I just bought myself a book and I just learned by myself, learned by myself whenever I had free time. And I actually never had proper Japanese classes, even when I was already speaking it, because what helped me was the combo of actually learning it by myself, just sitting down. I didn't need classes, and I think still you don't need classes for some things. If you can do that, that's great, but if you can't afford it, there is a way for you to learn it. You don't have to go to school. If you can, great, but if you can't, you can still make it. Next thing is, so books and learning. Number 2 is reason to keep doing it in your daily life. Watch anime or whatever. What helps. Whatever floats your boat of language learning. And then number 3, I think, is then actually using the language. So I did it in 2 ways. I had a Japanese exchange here, I went on an exchange and I tried to speak the language, but also then back at home, you don't have to come to Japan. Find Japanese people in your country. What I did, I founded a little Japanese association.
Did you really?
Like at my university. So I pulled in the few Japanese students we had, and I pulled in students from other countries who could speak Japanese or were interested in speaking Japanese. And then I would do little parties for them. So I would get everyone together, have for example, Japanese people don't celebrate Easter. How about I show you how we do an egg hunt? And everyone brought chocolate, we hid it, and that would help all of us because they had the chance to speak English, we had the chance to speak Japanese, everyone was happy. So if in your country, you might be making some Japanese people very happy by introducing your culture to them, and they can teach you some of their cultures to you. And I've been so excited that I haven't stopped talking.
You are a smart and dedicated woman. I'd never organize an Easter egg hunt for anybody, ever.
I think it's a cute, even, obviously religions and stuff are different. So some people see it as a very religious thing. I'm just thinking, it's chocolate.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And chocolate shaped as rabbits and that. Everyone loves a rabbit-shaped chocolate.
So you can pull
the Japanese would be like, oh, well, it's a rabbit. And then, it's chocolate,
The only problem we had, I wasn't quite clear with one of the messages, and I said, how about everyone brings £5 worth of chocolate? Because it was the UK, so everyone bought £5 as in money.
Half a kilo?
No, as in money, £5 as in money of chocolate. Well, unfortunately, one of the Japanese people, she thought I meant £5 in weight. Of chocolate.
Yeah. Yes.
So she brought a lot of chocolate.
Brought 2 kilos of chocolate with her.
She brought £5 worth of chocolate. But she also was the one in the end who collected the most eggs in the end. I think she wanted to get her money's worth back.
That's fair.
So she
would have spent $200 on chocolate or something. Yeah. Poor girl. She came up with a wheelbarrow full of chocolate.
She was like, I'm not sure if it's quite £5. I tried to weigh it, and I'm like, oh God, you didn't have to bring that much chocolate. So
poor girl.
She took probably £8 worth of it back home. So
okay, well that's fine then. That's fine. So what, are you learning any languages at the moment?
To be honest, Japanese is an ongoing process for me.
I'm trying to fix my Japanese,
Yeah. I like the fixing of Japanese. You are really right though. It's if you can learn it properly from the start, it's a great asset to have. Especially the basis. For me, what I'm lacking now, because I didn't have classes, is the basis of kanji. Kanji is and I think I have some certain errors that get into my speaking as well, because obviously I didn't go to class, but so far it hasn't been a problem. But I think, for me, ongoing is kanji in Japanese. Okay. So it's less speaking, because obviously I speak a lot, I do street interviews and stuff, but it's mainly the kanji, which you guys probably know this, but I'm going to mention it again. Japan has 3 alphabets. 2 are pretty easy to learn. Literally, you just sit down and then you have them. But the third one comes from China, the kanjis, and those ones are, in my opinion, the worst thing about Japanese language.
So you know what? I actually quite like the kanji. What upsets me? Here's what's up. I like writing the kanji because it's kind of like drawing pictures, isn't it?
Okay, I was going to say that. There's some sadistic.
No, because when you're learning them, you just want to repeat them a bunch of times to get your muscle memory with your hand, right? So it's kind of like drawing pictures, right? It's just
I mean, I guess coming from Cantonese, it is probably easier for you.
Yeah, but I didn't even try to learn to write in Cantonese. I just learned to speak and listen.
Okay.
Yeah. But for Mandarin, I learned to write somewhat as well. And that's actually, for me, for the Asian languages, the writing is the most fun part. Because like I say, it's like drawing pictures. And you just sit there by yourself, you just, put on music or whatever, and you just draw until your hand is tired and then just take a break, Like, I actually find it really fun.
Really? Well, because what I realized is if I just do the kanji several times, then I've just painted the same picture several times, but it doesn't mean that I'll remember it that way. And that brings us actually to everyone learns a language differently. So we can give you all the advice we want. You probably need to try and see what's your learning style. And that brings us also, I think, to learning styles. Like some people learn by speaking themselves, some people learn by reading, some people learn by writing. You might be the writing type.
Maybe I'm the writing type. Maybe I'm the drawing pictures and not thinking very hard type. I hate thinking. Don't make Ladybeard think. Ladybeard hates that activity. But tell you what upsets me about the damn kanji is each kanji can be pronounced about 46 different ways.
That's what I find
That's
so
a
mean
nightmare.
about it. You thought you remember a kanji. You thought you're like on first name basis. You thought like, okay, I know your sound and I know your meaning. We're pals now. And then you put this kanji together with someone else and suddenly it's like in school. They're hanging out with someone else. They're a completely different person. There's a different pronunciation, a different meaning. It's not fair.
You took that into a whole new world of its own.
Yeah, when you go to school and there's this one person you thought you were pals, you thought you get along, and then they hang out with this other person, suddenly they're different. That's what kanji are doing. I thought we were friends, okay? I thought we were friends. Hikari, Asa, Nichi. I thought we were friends. Sorry. It's trauma. It's kanji trauma.
That's all we've got time for on Cat with Beard today.
No, we still have time. Don't you wrap on our podcast.
Look at this Ikinari social aggression that appeared in the studio. What is this?
For me, for having learned the alphabet, an A is always an A, or maybe it's an apple, and that's it. But with kanji, you thought you were friends. You thought you had that kanji out, and suddenly someone reads tsuki like raito, like in Death Note. Suddenly it's raito. Why is that raito? You just made this up. It's not fair.
That is, admittedly, it's very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, for language learners, this is a nightmare.
It's very stressful. That's the hardest part when you do your kanji. Don't even learn how to say them. Just stick with drawing them. You have a good time.
Yeah. But if you can have a proper class, they will actually tell you the little bricks in the kanji. It's like building blocks. And they, for example, say, this is water or this is fire. If you squeeze it together on the left-hand side, it will still be water or fire in the combination with something else. So that helps a lot in understanding the kanji.
It is interesting with the kanji how when you get to kanji related to things like esoteric things, like things like emotion and intangible things. Because then it's like you put fire together with doorknob, together with broccoli, and then that creates the kanji for rage.
Yeah.
And you're like, so you set a doorknob on fire, throw broccoli at it, and it upsets you?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
There's some kanji, literally, it's so abstract after a while that you're just like, huh? What?
Yeah. That's why it's like just drawing the picture, you know what I'm saying? Just draw the picture and then just remember, and then you're like, this is my friend, the picture.
I also heard that the kanji, I'm wondering if that throws you off. In some types of Chinese and Japanese, there are similar kanji.
Yeah.
And I've seen that before. I've seen a shopkeeper talk with I think a person from China, I'm not quite sure, but they couldn't speak to each other. So what they did is they pulled out a paper and they communicated just using kanji, which is amazing. But some kanji mean the opposite. So for example, I heard the kanji for safe in Chinese is like a woman under a roof, but the kanji for cheap in Japanese is a woman under a roof because she can't go out and go shopping. Retail therapy, everyone. By the way, this dress is new. I just bought it. I'm wearing it for the first time. There you go. Shameless plug.
Do you know what? This is the most female approach you've ever taken to this podcast, I must say. The amount of feminine energy swirling around this studio right now.
I have to match your testosterone.
Well, that's right. Ladybeard's testosterone is peaking.
It's peaking right now, apparently.
Testosterone!
So I've been told.
Let me explain. We went to Austria. Thank you to everyone who came and saw us at Unicon in Austria. Thank you, my Austrian beauties. I love you all very much. There was, when we were at Unicon in Vienna, just very quickly, there was one point during the convention when a young man, I don't know who he was, young man wearing some kind of cosplay that was red, asked me for a photo. I was in the middle of something, and I couldn't take a photo at the time, and I don't think I was very polite to him, and I just wanted to apologize to him for that in the event that he ever listens to the podcast. My apologies. I would have. It was a bad time. I was in the middle of something kind of serious. I'm very, very sorry if I was rude to you.
I hope that whoever it was will understand, because
I hope so
sometimes
too.
you're in so much high pressure, also little sleep, jet lag, all of that. Guys, like
It's all
we
that, but
tried
the-
to be our best selves.
But the fans don't know that. So that's why I felt the
I
need to
guess so.
tell them, you know what I'm
it's a
saying?
good, it's a good point to say that, and I think that's good that you did that, but also for you guys, like, think how you would feel on like little sleep, lots of jet lag, high pressure, maybe tiny sleep, lots of like.
More that I was
exercise and stuff.
I was in the middle of getting something done, and it was just a bad time, and I had to focus on this, and you know what I'm saying? It was all,
Did you tell him in the German or in the English?
No, I told him in the English, but I just don't think I was very polite to him. So, young man, whoever you are, my apologies. Please forgive me. I didn't mean to be rude. I'm very sorry.
We never mean to be rude. We're really nice people when
We try.
running on good
You're
enough
very
sleep.
nice. You're also smart because you didn't study Japanese like with teachers and that. You just figured it out yourself. That's what I find impressive.
I wish sometimes I had the time to just sit down and have some classes. I would love to have some classes now, but once you come to Japan, guys, if you don't come as a language student, it will be actually a lot harder, because once you work in Japan, you will work a lot, so it makes it harder. But there's actually a little thing I would like to do. Can you introduce yourself in all the languages you can speak?
Sure. Okay, let's see. Hello, my name is Ladybeard. Wie geht's? Ich heiße Ladybeard. 你好，我叫 Ladybeard. 大家好，我係 Ladybeard. 我係胡鬚女. And はじめまして Ladybeard です.
Ooh.
Now you.
Okay.
You have to make the same language as we speak different from my introduction.
Different from yours.
So I said
okay.
wie geht's and はじめまして
Okay.
and hello. So you pick something different in those
Okay.
languages.
Good afternoon. This is Cathy Cat. It's delightful to see you today.
Good.
Okay. You put the difficulty up a little
Auf
bit.
Deutsch?
Hallo Leute, ich bin's, Cathy Cat.
Hello, Leute. I like that. Hello, Leute. I like that. All right. Japanese?
Bonjour.
Wait, that's not Japan. Flipping the Spanish.
I want to get the French. I want to get the French out of the way.
I was going to go that last.
Bonjour.
Because I want
Je
to say
m'appelle Cathy Cat. Je suis allemand. And last one is. Okay, I have like a really random one in my head, but not that one. Not one. No, I'm thinking again. Come on, what? Cathy Cat did too. But I thought
that was
maybe not. Not a
Do
good
it like you're at a
idea.
maid cafe. Do it like you work at a maid cafe.
Oh, I would love to do this. I would love to work in a maid cafe for a day.
You're very good at busting out appropriate Japanese for circumstances very quickly. I would have to stop and think about what the maid cafe girls do. You were just like, bah, ready to go.
Yes, それほどでも.
Look at this. Very, very impressive. You're very quick with the brain movements.
I think you learn nuances. There's a lot of nuances in Japanese language, which is something I would like to cut into as well. You have different types of Japanese you use. You have different level of Japanese you use for friends. You have different level of Japanese you'd use for people that you don't know, who are not your friends,
Yep.
maybe your colleagues. And then you have a whole different Japanese you use for people who are in a higher position than you are. So there is normal language, polite language, and uber polite language.
Yep.
And those ones are very different. They can sound very different, and you shouldn't mess them up, which makes it a little bit harder, because obviously a lot of language learners who learn it the proper way come to Japan and speak very, very formal to their friends. Or if you happen to pick it up from your girl or boyfriend, you might really speak really, really unpolite Japanese to your colleagues. Or a really funny example is a lot of boys who have Japanese girlfriends learn a lot of language from their girlfriends, and then they speak girl
Super
Japanese.
girly.
Because
Yeah.
that's another one. There's like girl and boy Japanese and the way you speak, and then they will like say like, desu wa, like something that's kind of like a little, that guys wouldn't say and stuff like that. So that's kind of fun.
That is fun. At the same time, it's very torturous. Because if you say the wrong thing at the wrong time, it's a major social faux pas.
Yeah.
Major social
There's a lot of little things you can dip your foot into it by
Yeah.
accident. So
Call
that's
the emperor cuz. Probably not appropriate, you know? It's like meeting the queen. Like if you're speaking Kegel, which is the formal version, it's like the language you need if you're going to meet the queen. You know, there's all those rules.
Oh, yeah.
Step forward, like bow, shake her hand, curtsy, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Step back, that kind of thing. Except just in regular behavior when you see the boss. It's funny because the boss can be like, hey, when you walk in, you have to be like, dear boss, most honorable employer of the 7th generation. Please bless me with your presence. Yeah, it's a lot.
So with the highest level of Japanese, you pretty much use it with sama. Sama can be used for people like
Customers.
gods.
Gods, customers.
Sama is like literally for like really, really high standing people who are very, very above you. Oh, you're just a mean little piece of dirt on the floor, and they are up in that sea, like that kind of thing.
Customers.
You also use that for customer service, which is interesting.
Which is good.
Yeah, I don't know.
Customers always right.
If they keigo too much, like if they speak that super polite language to me too much, especially on the phone, I'm sometimes like, hey, I know you're trying to be super polite with me right now, but can you just scale it down to normal Japanese? Because I would like to know how to use my air cleaner properly, and you're like literally tangling yourself up in like really polite language, and I just want to know, where is that button I need to push?
So you could say Hyojungyo kudasai. Hyojungyo is like the standardized version of Japanese. So if they're speaking super polite, then you can ask for Hyojungyo. And they have to talk to you normally. Because they might be also bust out Kansai Ben. We haven't spoken about that yet.
Yeah, we've mentioned that before, the differences between Tokyo and Osaka in one of our podcasts. So if you want to know how to also speak different accents, then I highly recommend you the Osaka one. I think we had a lot of fun with that one. That little quiz that we did for Ladybeard was pretty good. I think our podcast is pretty good, by the way.
Oh, yeah, hopefully,
A lot of cool stuff here.
Bezalel reckoned. Thanks, Bezalel.
Yes.
When you first go on TV, all the comedians speak Kansai Ben, and so you have no idea what the hell's going on. And you're like, what the hell is happening? It's so strange.
Yeah, it's hard to catch up with that. But yeah.
Any Japaneseness that you still can't get your head around?
You know what? For Japanese, I think we could make an entire episode just like to go for like tips and tricks and how we learned it. I would totally be up for that. Can we do that? I mean, we don't have much time today anymore, right? Let's do that. Let's do a whole one. But on the multi-language, so if we staying under the umbrella of multi-languages, what multi-language, not just Japanese, advice would you give for someone with different languages and not mixing them up? Because you said you mixed them up before.
If I'm speaking two that are not English at the same time, they just get jumbled up. And it always happens right at the punchline of the joke. It's awful. So I'll be speaking one language and then a single word from another one will drop in. And it's always at the punchline of the joke. It always ruins the joke. It's very upsetting.
Oh, no.
So my advice is whatever one you're speaking at the moment, whichever one you're speaking at the moment is grammatically correct. Whichever one you're speaking at the moment, speak your mother tongue and that one. And don't go messing around, try to skip into another one for a second. Just pick one and that's what you're doing today or whatnot. And then if you're going to go to another one, reset totally and totally click over to the other one. And don't try and mix them up. Unless you're doing some polyglot gimmick and you're being a translator of the army or something. But
I mean, for you probably being in Germany, your base language is English. There was a lot of German you were speaking, but you also singing in Japanese.
I'd talk to the girls in Japanese as well. Talk to the girls in my group in Japanese. So
that must have like.
But it's funny because I can still understand the German, so I understand what everyone says. But then if I try to speak back in German, half the sentence will be German and half will just unconsciously become Japanese. So it just becomes a jumble.
I think that's where it gets hard. Like people who've been raised with two languages don't seem to have that problem as much. But if you learn several languages, then sometimes people get it messed up. That's why I'm sometimes surprised some people saying, oh, I learned like 3 languages at the same time. Like, how do you not mess them up? I don't know that secret. I do mess it up too. So once I bring 3 languages into a room, it will throw me off. A common question that I get a lot for speaking several languages is, in which language do you dream?
All of them.
All of them?
All of them. Sometimes one dream, all 5 of them.
Wow. All right, okay.
Damn. How about you?
I think it's whichever language I've used the most during the day. So if I used a lot of Japanese, I think I dream in Japanese. However, if in the dream I meet someone from, for example, Germany, I'm sure in the dream I speak German to them. Right, okay. So apparently, like, once when I was dreaming, I literally was like talking in my sleep going, "Doshio." So that's when the Japanese kicks in. It literally depends on who am I speaking in the dream to, and then my brain will just switch to whatever language would be my default.
Which one do you instinctively think in?
I think whichever I use the most at the time. So right now I would be thinking in English, and that's why the speed is the same speed that I have right now. But at the start, when you learn a language, it's totally fine to first think in your language and then say it in the other language. I know it takes time, but the more you get used to the other language, the more you will then just speak it.
And what's interesting as well is different languages are kind of more efficient at expressing certain things than other languages.
Oh yeah, there's some words that are so on point. I think we have some really good ones in Germany as well. Like For example, fanvi, which is, it's not homesick, it's the opposite of being homesick. It's when you really have that urging in your chest of going somewhere.
Like Wanderlust?
Wanderlust, like wanting to travel. We have a lot of words for that, we Germans. I guess we're
So wanderers?
We're all like wandering
You
around.
nomads! You
Yes!
barbarian hordes!
Is there like a really good word in Australia? What a good Chinese word that you think like, wow, there's no other language that does
Tell you
it.
what, this is my favorite Chinese word. They use it more in Cantonese than they do in Mandarin, in my experience. There's this word 小朋友, which means child, but literally it means little friend. And I find that really endearing and really,
cute.
really adorable. Yeah. I used to have a T-shirt with 小朋友 written on it. It was wonderful. I walk around with my hair in pigtails with 小朋友 on my shirt. Everyone found it highly amusing.
Child.
Yeah.
Nice. I think a Japanese one I like, there's a lot of things that express an instant emotion or instant situation. So natsukashi is a great word of saying, hey, like if you see something that makes you feel some sort of nostalgia, you would have to have a sentence in English like, oh man, that brings back some memories. That takes me back. Oh wow, that's super nostalgic. And in Japanese, you just say natsukashi. And that's it. It's one word, it expresses an emotion, and that's one of the things I love about this language. Sometimes you don't even have to do that much talking.
It's very efficient. How many minutes remain in this extravaganza?
We're good.
Are we done? Let's
We are
wrap this
done.
bad
Okay.
boy up. Cathy Cat, where do people find you on the internet?
First of all, we will do just a podcast on Japanese language learning for you guys in the future, so be sure to tune in for that one. If you haven't already followed our podcast or our YouTube or our Twitter, then please do. And you can first of all see this beautiful haircut of
Very
mine and
nice.
see how shiny, oh so shiny, so bright, Ladybeard's hair is today, and my wonderful new dress
Very
that,
nice.
that I'm flaunting today. It's a space dress, that's why I feel like a space
You're
cybergirl.
aesthetically a pleasing female.
Thank you. I mean, like, hey, I'm a science fiction master, so I had to
you are.
kind of bring the science fiction space girl in here today.
Master of Arms.
Yeah, master of arms. And, well, people, where can, Ladybeard, you do it first. Tell us where we can find you.
You can go to the internet and you can type in Ladybeard _ Japan.
Testosterone up. I'm trying to turn your testosterone. What happened to the earlier testosterone
I was
powers?
just trying to clearly communicate the letters so that people could clearly type them into the internet.
Very well indeed, my friend. Let's say it.
You can go to the internet and you can type in Ladybeard _ Japan. That's where you will find all Ladybeard things on the internet. You can also leave a comment on the YouTube videos of the Cat with Beard podcast and also our Twitter so that we can read your comments on air. Thank you, Bezalel, for your email today. Cathy Cat, where can people find you on the internet?
Well, Cathy Cat, both with C _ TV. I've been saying for all the episodes until now, it's constantly been saying underbar.
That's the
instead of
Japanese
underscore.
name for an
it's
underscore.
It's the Japanese name for underscore.
Underscore.
So, I've been constantly telling you the wrong thing, so that's probably why you guys haven't found me yet. So please, Cathy Cat _ TV. It's that flat thing on the button of all the letters. It just lies there like a little stick on the floor. That's the one. And then TV. That's how you can find me.
Underscore sounds a little bit like something that happens in soccer when like you score half a goal.
It sounds a bit negative, yeah. I should have probably not used that letter. But it's there now, and it's there to stay.
Well, it's not your fault. You didn't name the underscore. Whoever made the internet did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Cathy Cat _ TV. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram. Pretty pictures, nice reels on Instagram. Check out my Instagram. And, of course, also YouTube and Twitch for live streaming. I think I mentioned everything. And this wonderful podcast. And also, I'm on TV, NHK World, Japan Railway Journal. Thank you so much for watching. All right. Let's wrap it up. Good.
Thank you very much for tuning in again to another exciting episode of the podcast. We'll see you next time on Cat with Beard _